Welcome to our webinar, What to Expect at Red Raider Orientation. We are excited to have you joining us here today. My name is Christine Self with Parent and Family Relations, and joining me is Zach Manning from Orientation Services. This webinar is part of our Red Raider Family Webinar Series, where we share information on topics of interest of families, parents, and the supporters of our students. We hope this webinar will help you get prepared to attend Red Raider Orientation with your students this summer and learn what to bring and what to expect. We will share some information about next steps, but this webinar primarily focuses on attending Red Raider Orientation. Don't worry, as you can see on the screen, there are other webinars focusing on topics like financial aid and tuition billing, living on campus, campus safety, and others planned this summer. We plan to keep this webinar to about 30 minutes or so. If there's time at the end, we'll open it up for questions using the Zoom Q&A feature. In the meantime, feel free to type in your questions throughout the presentation using that Q&A feature. We do have lots of folks behind the scenes to answer those questions for you. We are recording the session and posting it to our website so that you'll be able to review it again later or share it with others. We'll also email the recording link to the email that you used when you registered for the webinar. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn it over to Zach Manning to answer the question, what exactly is Red Raider Orientation?
Awesome. Thank you, Christine. Again, thank you all for joining us today. We're excited that you and your students have decided to be Red Raiders. And in that decision-making process, Red Raider Orientation definitely comes up. So Red Raider Orientation is your students' opportunity to come to campus and most importantly, meet with their academic advisor and register for classes. But it's a lot more than that. It's an opportunity to learn about the resources and departments that are here to serve your student while they're here at Texas Tech University, become more familiar with campus, and really gain a better understanding of what the expectations are of your student while they're here at Texas Tech University. We're also going to get a lot of questions answered, whether it be about financial aid, housing, academics, anything and everything. You can do that face-to-face with the great faculty and staff here at Texas Tech University.
And why should parents and family members attend? Obviously, it's required for students, but why should parents and families come too?
Yeah, so we highly encourage, if you are able to attend with your student. And the reason we say that is because you have been a point of contact for your student for the last 18, 19, 20 years. You've been a resource, and we want to make sure while you're at home, whether home is in Texas, whether it's in California, whether it's across the world, wherever you are, you can continue to be that resource. So you're coming, we have an extra set of eyes, an extra set of ears, listening to the information that's being provided during Red Raider Orientation. So whenever October hits and your student has a question, they call you, you can say, I know who you need to talk to. You need to talk to Dr. Self over at Parent and Family Relations, and she'll take care of you. So again, just another added resource, but also so you feel comfortable and confident in their decision to be a Red Raider.
And it's a lot of fun too. You'll have an opportunity to meet other parents and family members, folks who are going through the very same thing that you are with having a new student start at Texas Tech. So we really want to see you here. So we hope you're able to attend. All right, moving on. What are some of the things that we need to remind students to do before orientation and families to do as well?
Yeah, so number one, remove holds. Your students can look at what holds they might have, and a hold impacts their ability to register for classes. Many of those holds include housing, immunization records, the Texas Success Initiative or TSI, and they'll also see an academic orientation hold. So those are the four main holds that students will see, but take care of those before orientation. That way it's one less thing to do when you get here. Your students need to be checking their Texas Tech University email daily. They're getting information from us, from other departments on campus, from their academic advisor, financial aid, and so much more. So it's really important that they do this on a daily basis. If their email doesn't end in @ttu.edu, they need to be checking that email. Completing their Red Raider Orientation online modules. Those modules are available online at www.orientation.ttu.edu. It's available in the same system where they registered for orientation. It takes about 60 to 90 minutes, and it is self-paced. They do it at their leisure. They don't have to do it all in one sitting. They can come back. It'll store where they're at. But please make sure they complete their orientation online modules prior to coming to campus for orientation, because that's how that academic orientation hold will be removed. When they come to orientation and those modules have been completed. So there are those.
Wonderful. One other thing that we want to make sure that you do already, you may already be part of the Red Raider Family Network, but if you're not, we would love for you to go ahead and sign up for that. You're already likely receiving information from the Red Raider Family Network as the parent or family member of a prospective Texas Tech student. For example, many of you got the email notice about this webinar through the Red Raider Family Network. But once your student becomes a current student at Texas Tech, you'll even receive more information from that network that's based on your student's college. You'll receive your monthly newsletter from Parent and Family Relations through the Red Raider Family Network. You'll also be able to use that network to request access to student records. So this wouldn't be a lot of information right now since your student hasn't signed up for classes, but come fall, that is going to be your access to student records, including things like your student's class schedule, their midterm and final grades, things like that. Now, do keep in mind your student has to grant you that access. And we'll be talking a lot about Red Raider Family Network at orientation. So please let us know if you have questions about that. And again, we'll be talking all about it at orientation when you come. So speaking of coming to orientation, Zach, can you talk a little bit about the guest fees and what they cover for our parents?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Christine. So the adult guest, for anybody 8 years or older, there's a $50 guest fee that is non-refundable. So if you're not sure if everybody's coming yet, who is coming, you can hold off on registering any guest. But we do recommend you do that the week of, if not earlier, of your student's orientation. Again, that'll be one fewer lines you need to stand in. So make sure if you know someone is coming to orientation, please register them as they get here, or as you know that they are coming. Children 7 and under are free. And what does that cover? For our 2-day sessions, it's primarily for our first year students. That'll cover the program materials. You'll get your first clear Texas Tech bag you can use for athletic events and anywhere else you go. We have a fajita dinner on the first night. You'll also get your guest shirt at the Parent and Family Social, where you also get some beverages and relaxing. Also parking, staffing, administrative, and technology costs, and so much more. We want to make orientation as easy as possible for you. And so that's what we have that fee for, to cover the cost incurred with orientation.
All right, so let's talk about some schedule highlights. So first of all, you will receive a complete printed schedule when you arrive at Red Raider Orientation, but you can also get a preview of that on the Orientation Services website. So here's some highlights for you as a parent or family member. Again, check-in on day 1 will begin at 10 a.m. and parking will be in the parking lot next to Hewlin Clement Residence Hall. It's called the Z3 parking lot. Talk about that in more detail here in just a moment. So be on the lookout for signage for that. Check-in, students will move from the parking over to the Student Union building to get checked in. And that's where they will pick up all the items that they will need during orientation. They'll have the opportunity to get set up for staying on campus around this time too. That's a good reminder too. Families and guests will need to arrange for hotel accommodations for orientation. So if you haven't done that, now's the time to get those rooms reserved. As Zach mentioned earlier, at check-in, guests are going to receive their clear bag, which will be great not only for coming back to Texas Tech for football games or basketball games or other athletic events, but you'll also use it to gather items during your orientation experience. You'll definitely want that bag with you when you come to the parent and family session later. We've got some goodies for you. So also on day 1, hold removal. If your student has some holds they need to take care of, that will happen right there in the Student Union building. You'll have the big welcome session. Parents and family members and guests and students will go to that together. Then you'll all head to a college welcome. This is one of the great parts of orientation where you get to see the actual college faculty and folks who will be working with your student for the next 4 years. So that's a really great time. After that college welcome, students will have some student-only activities that they'll be participating in, and then you'll come join us for the Red Raider Families Supporting Your Students Transition session. Again, we've got some great things planned for that session and some things for you to pick up as you walk in to that session as well. The Campus Resource Fair is a very popular part of orientation for students and guests. You'll get to go around and meet and visit with a lot of folks who are part of your student success team here at Texas Tech. So plan on going to that resource fair. And then there's lots of breakout sessions that you can choose from financial matters with financial aid and student business services to a session on first year success, first gen Raider experience, study abroad. There's a student organization fair, information about fraternity and sorority life. So there's lots of things to choose from. Again, we mentioned it's great to have your student come with a parent or family member because you can divide and conquer these sessions. They are running at different times, so you can pick and choose which ones you'd like. But it's great to have those extra eyes and ears checking out some of this information. And then as Zach mentioned, you'll have that great fajita dinner with your student there in the student union. And then parents and family members come join us for the Parent and Family Social hosted by the Texas Tech Alumni Association over at our beautiful Mackenzie Murcutt Alumni Center. You'll have a chance to relax. It's going to be a long day, so you'll get to sit down, have some drinks, and get your free Red Raider, or sorry, not free, but it's part of your fees, right? It's your Red Raider Orientation Guest t-shirt. So you'll enjoy that. So it'll be a lot of fun. Keep in mind that your students will have programming until late at night. So after that social's over, use that time to enjoy the Lubbock community. Or if you're like me, just rest and relax in your hotel room. All right, Zach, so what's going to happen on day 2?
Yeah, so as Christine mentioned, there's a lot going on. On the second day, that's where we want to make sure that your student is ready to succeed. They're going to hear about a number of different resources, again, including our Raider Success Hub, which is their one-stop point of contact for all their academic advisor, all their faculty members, their financial aid advisor, their personal librarian, their student success specialist, and so much more. And then they're going to academic advising. Academic advising, the parents and family members also go. I do want to note that it is a little bit different for every college. So you might have a friend that's in the Rawls College of Business, but you're in the College of Education. There will be different experiences. So that varies by college. And then we're going to give one last stop. It's called our one stop to ask all the questions you might have. That includes individual meetings with financial aid, student business services, and scholarships, Military and Veteran Program Office. If you are a military veteran, first of all, thank you for your service. Second of all, we have an office dedicated to you, and make sure that all those paperwork, all that benefit paperwork is taken care of after your student registers for classes. Also checking again with Parent Family Relations, the Texas Tech Parent Association, housing, hospitality. We also have a small job fair. So if you want your student to be working while they're on campus, which I highly recommend, they can find a job while they're at orientation and start when they get here. It's really neat too. If you have or haven't heard, Jones AT&T Stadium is currently under construction. The south end zone is being redone. But you're going to have an opportunity to go take a picture over there, right there in the stadium. There's some limited space just due to construction, but you get to go see it before anybody else. And so you can go take a picture over there. Also being aware that we have some great academic resources, including the library and our undergraduate writing center, where they partner together to learn about the resources that they provide our students. And that takes place from noon to 2. And then really for every student and guest, we recommend don't make any travel plans until after 2 p.m. We want to make sure that your students are able to register for classes while they're on campus, take care of all the questions they have, get everything ready to go for their time here in the fall. So please, as you look at the schedule, it's available on our website. It's detailed and laid out exactly what's going on. You can start picking which sessions you want to go to that Christine mentioned. But please don't make plans to leave until after 2 p.m. on the second day of your orientation.
All right, so earlier we talked about parking and where things are located. Feel free to snap a photo of this screen. This kind of shows you some of the main locations where you'll be during Red Raider orientation. And this is a good reminder that these slides are already posted on our webinars page if you want to refer to these later. But you can see on here that red circle that says Z3 parking. This is your first stop when you arrive at Red Raider orientation. This is off 19th Street and Detroit Avenue. So you'll park there. Hewlin Clement is the residence hall where your students will be staying during Red Raider orientation. And then you can see that not too far away is our student union building. That is where the bulk of the sessions will occur. So that's where check-in will be on day one, as well as the welcome session and some of the breakout sessions and things. That's kind of the main place where you'll gather. And then when you're going off to the college welcome sessions, the Red Raider orientation crew will lead you right to where you need to go. You can also see on the map here, the Mackenzie Market Alumni Center. That is where you'll have the parent and family social on the evening of day one. One great thing about that building is they have really convenient parking right outside the building if you want to drive over there. So speaking about parking, here's some more information. Oh, Zach, you are muted.
Sorry about that. Yep, it's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. All right. So parking, I know a number of you might be driving to Lubbock. Some of you might be flying to Lubbock and renting a car. But you will park, as Christine mentioned on the map there, is that they will have space available in the Hugh and Clement Residence Hall, where the students are staying that one night. I know I saw a few of questions popped up. Students do have a room already reserved. There's nothing additional that needs to be done. They have a room waiting for them in the Hugh and Clement Residence Hall. So you'll receive an email 1 week prior to your orientation session. You and your student will receive that if you're a registered guest with parking registration instructions. So make sure that you check your email again. Make sure your student is checking their Texas Tech email and they can register their vehicle. You can register your vehicle. Also, if you have a rental car, you can register that vehicle also on the day of orientation or whenever you pick up the rental. One thing to note is that there are a lot of reserved lots on campus. So please be sure to park in the Hugh and Clement Residence Hall. Also, if you do if you have special parking privileges and you're able to park in handicapped spots with proper license plates and or placard, you can park anywhere on campus. We have an outstanding transportation and parking services team that will take care of you. So if that is the case, know that you can park right up in front of the Student Union building and anywhere else on campus with proper license plates and placards.
Wonderful. So let's transition into what to bring, things to remind your students to bring for their Red Raider orientation experience.
Yep. So your student will need to bring their government issued ID. It's vertical now, I guess. Sorry. Whenever I was 18 years old, it was horizontal, but bring a government issued ID so they can pick up their Texas Tech ID. As you may or may not know, their student ID is their key to the world here at Texas Tech University. It's how they will access their residence halls, how they will access their meal plans. It's how they'll do everything, how they'll get into athletic events, the rec center, and so much more. So they'll take the picture. They can also submit that picture beforehand. So they can take the picture at orientation, or they can go online through the admitted student task list and submit that photo today. But then they'll pick up their ID at orientation. Also, we recommend if students have access to a personal laptop or tablet to bring that for course registration, just so it's something they're more comfortable with and more knowledgeable with to register for classes during orientation. Again, your student already has a room waiting for them at Hugh and Clement Residence Hall. So it's a good test run for what life is going to be like in the fall, right? So please bring bedding and towels for staying at Hugh and Clement. Please note they are twin extra long sheets. So know that. And that's one of the perks to it is kind of see what is this like to live in a residence hall? What's it going to be like to use community bath? All that sort of stuff. And then, of course, as Christine mentioned, the students, they do get to go over to the rec center. So bringing athletic attire, swimsuits, anything like that. We also have a what to bring section on our website where they can go back and visit that and see what exactly they need. Please note, if they are staying for Red Raider camp, they'll need to bring clothes for even more days. So something to think of. If they are doing the combined orientation and camp, please note they'll stay in the same room for all 3 nights. So they won't have to move anywhere. And they will check in during that check-in time that Christine mentioned. That's when they'll get their key and be able to go drop off their materials at their room.
Awesome. And so as a parent or family member, here's some things to think about bringing with you to help your student get squared away and get the questions answered that you need answered. So bring any financial aid or financial documents if you're going to be speaking with financial aid or military and veterans programs. So that could look like maybe tax returns or a military documentation that you might need to help your student. Make sure, and this is a really important one, wear casual and comfortable clothing and shoes. Okay, be prepared to do a little bit of walking. Remember earlier when I mentioned you'll meet up at the student union, but our student staff will be leading you to the various college welcomes. That can be some serious walking, so just be prepared for that. Comfortable shoes. Again, Lubbock can be very hot in the summer. June typically could be a rainier month for Lubbock, whereas July and August tend to be very hot and dry. Definitely recommend that you check out your weather app before you head out of town and be prepared for whatever the Lubbock weather has to offer. Also, in some of our meeting rooms, it might be a little bit cool. So if you're the kind of person that gets a little bit chilly, you might want to bring with you a light jacket or cardigan. And then make sure, again, this is really more for your student, but also for you. There are some meals included, but some for you that will not be. So make sure that you're prepared to purchase meals that are not included on the schedule. And here's some other things to expect at orientation.
Yeah, so as Christine kind of went through that schedule, as you look at that and they kind of go through everything, look at the schedule, is there's going to be times where y'all together and times where y'all will be separated. And so it's great, good opportunity again for your students to kind of start getting out there on their own and learning about the resources that they will be able to utilize as a student here. But know that the content being covered is very similar. They're going to be meeting a lot of students. They might even know students. I know a question came up is, what if their roommate is also coming to the same orientation? Are they going to be able to room together? Well, that's great, but they'll just need to go through the check-in process together. So some of you might have your student going with their roommate. Encourage them to meet their roommate, connect, have a meal with their roommate, and learn really what to expect. But they're going to be meeting students from their academic college and major, so creating those connections. But orientation is also led by our current students. Allie, who some of you might have been getting some chatted answers from, Allie has selected our orientation crew, and they're current students at Tech who are going to tell your students everything they need to know about students. So they're going to meet a lot of folks. Students are going to meet with their academic advisor, right? So who can they expect to see, not just for registering for this coming fall, but also beyond that. And parents and family members, as we mentioned earlier, you'll also be involved with advising, but it does vary by college. So please note that if you have a friend in the College of Education and you're in the Huckabee College of Architecture, y'all are going to have different experiences because just the way that each of our colleges are set up. One thing to note is that your tuition, your students' tuition fees will not be due during orientation. So those bills will go out in late July via email to your students. So that's another important reason to make sure that they are checking their Texas Tech email. That's where that will be sent. So please make sure they're checking that. Late July is when those bills will go out. And then again, making sure that those bills are paid in a timely manner. And if you need help with that, you have questions during orientation, student financial aid and scholarships, as well as our student business services offices will be there to answer any questions you have about payments.
Wonderful. And then just some kind of reminders about when you're at orientation. We just really want you to, don't leave without asking questions. This is your opportunity to meet people in person and ask all the questions that you have. Write your questions down ahead of time. Bring your list with you as you think about questions to ask. Feel free to ask anybody that you see who works at Texas Tech. I know that our staff will be around a lot for you to ask questions. Most of our families have some sort of questions about financial aid, tuition payments, those sorts of things. Those folks have breakout sessions. They also have, there's time built into the schedule for individual meetings with them as you saw earlier. So make sure that you take advantage of those opportunities. Be sure and connect with our staff. We are the folks on campus who really are here to help you as your student transitions into a college student. So we're here to help. We're here to communicate with you. And then finally, take advantage of those times like the social on the evening of day one to meet other families maybe from your hometown that you didn't realize their student was come to Texas Tech. Or when you're at those college breakout sessions, meet some families whose students are in your student's same major. You all can exchange contact information and keep up with each other and be a support system for one another as well. So again, main point here is don't leave orientation without asking questions. and some other updates for your student.
Yeah, so again, I think I've said it about 5 times now. Make sure they're checking their Text Tech email on a regular basis. They're going to be hearing from orientation, from housing, their advisors, learning how to get involved and what to expect as a student at Text Tech University. And then, Christine, what else?
Yeah, so again, just a final reminder to make sure that you're part of that Red Raider family network. So make sure that you log in or create an account. The website's up there for you and it's been shared in the chat. Again, we'll be talking a lot about how that network can work for you and how you can use it to connect to your student while you're at orientation. And that leads me to kind of some of the next steps that we have for you as a parent or family member. Make sure that you visit our main website and bookmark that. We keep lots of information there for you. There's resources for parents and family members, including a Texas Tech terminology page. All of our webinars are listed there. You can see the ones that are coming up. I saw a lot of questions about TSI pop up in the Q&A. We have a webinar called Ready, Set, Texas Tech on May 29th. Be sure and sign up for that one because our TSI folks are going to be there, as well as our Raider Ready folks, to talk about a class your students can take to make sure that they're ready for college. We want you to bookmark the date for Family Weekend. That's going to be September 27th through 29th. It's going to be a great weekend with a lot of fun. You can go to our website already and see some of the things that we have planned for that weekend. Family Days. We know that not everybody can come to Family Weekend, right? That particular weekend may not work for you. So we maintain a calendar of things that you can do all year round when you're visiting your Texas Tech student. In fact, it's a good idea to check that calendar when you come to orientation. You may have some downtime. You may be staying an extra day ahead of or after your student session because of travel arrangements, etc. And we've got all the great things to do in Lubbock during that time. Also, next steps, move-in information. So students will receive an email from University Student Housing about signing up for a time slot for moving in August. That program will open up toward the end of June. So be prepared for that. We've got, we can put in the chat for you the housing information. There's a whole page about move-in. So make sure that you check that out. And then we want to just put a bug in your ear here about Raider Welcome. That is kind of the first week or two of classes or after between move-in and when classes start. And so if you're concerned about your student moving in early, what are they going to have to do before classes start? Well, don't worry, Raider Welcome definitely has your student covered. There's lots of information or lots of things going on during that time where students can get connected with student organizations and get lots of free t-shirts and food.
And again, I want to highly encourage you if you have any questions. I know Christine and Parent-Family Relations are a wonderful resource and their information has been on there. But if you have any questions specifically about orientation, please visit our website. There's information on what to bring, where to park, what the schedule will look like. Everything's on our website, www.orientation.ttu.edu. You can email us, orientation@ttu.edu. Give us a call, 806-742-2993. I do want to note, if you do call us or if you email us, I appreciate your patience and grace because there's a student, much like your student, who's answering those phone calls. So if you have something that maybe you're a little frustrated with or concerned about, please show them a little bit of grace because they are a student too, and they're doing their best. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me directly. But also, if you're on social media, follow us at TTU Orientation. We'll be happy to engage with you there.
Wonderful. Well, we are pretty much at the end of our session, but we can still answer your questions. So type those in the Q&A. We will stay behind the scenes answering those, typing the answers to those for you. So keep those questions coming. I also have on my screen here a QR code to a survey. We would love to know what your thoughts were about this webinar. We're doing it again on Friday. So if you have any suggestions or you want to tell us what you liked about it, please take our very quick survey. One question I do want to answer that I see in the chat here, and this was kind of mentioned earlier, but just want to make it clear. If you need assistance with parking because of a handicap, this person says they have a handicap tag for their car, you don't have to park over in Hewlin Clement and walk all the way to the student union. There is accessible parking on campus. And if you have any questions or issues with that, Zach mentioned earlier that we have transportation and parking staff on campus. They live in these, they work in these little stations that you'll see as you enter campus. They can help you find the nearest accessible parking for where you need to go. All right, so again, thank you all for joining us. Please keep typing your questions. We'll stay behind and answer those. We cannot wait to see you this summer. Thank you.